And yo, Chanel, who is the person you speak with most often?
Are we talking about repeating myself, or are we speaking about having conversations?
If you're talking about repeating yourself, it's your kids.
Yes, definitely. 100%.
Me as well.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. When it's about conversation, I would say possibly myself. I speak to myself often. I think it's just the way we're wired.
Speak to yourself pretty much all the time.
Mm.
I think if you try to catch yourself when you are not speaking with yourself, you would be surprised.
Mm.
If you think about having a speech bubble above your head.
Yep.
That shows to the people around you what it is that you are thinking. Do you think you'd be proud of that when people could read what's on your mind?
That's a hard question. I think to a large extent, mostly, when it comes to people and what I think about people, they would be. Not always. I mean, I'm not a saint, obviously. But I think when I speak to myself, they would probably be shocked. I think people would probably expect, and I've actually had people say, you always look like you've got everything together. And I'm like, you have no idea what's happening in here.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. And I think that's typically it, right? So the conversations that we have with ourselves, I think we are harsher with ourselves. We tend to judge ourselves a lot more than we potentially judge other people. Not necessarily. I mean, I think there are some people that maybe judge others more than they judge themselves. I think it depends on whether you have that internal, external locus of control, whether you would be more, I would say, judgmental on yourself or have more grace for yourself versus
or forgiving of others. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's possibly.
So I've had 2 or 3 conversations in the last 2 weeks. Speaking with people that are quite perfectionistic in the way they do things. They like things the way they like them. And it's often as a result of the work they do because they are there to solve problems. The one guy I'm thinking of specifically is in customer service. So people contact him with issues and he has to be really quick at fixing them. So he prefers if things are working as opposed to when things are breaking.
And having a contingency and a backup plan and all of that so that he's never left on the back foot. Yeah.
Yes. So his tendency is to think of what's wrong, try to fix that. But he also sets high standards for himself. But he finds it to be incredibly draining because he also knows that he's a human that's not always going to know the answer immediately.
Yeah.
He's not always going to have the perfect reply immediately. He's not always going to have the most emotionally considered way of reacting immediately. And then he beats up on himself for not being the perfect human all the time. And I was asking him specifically about the way that he talks to himself, because it's been a topic of conversation. I mean, you and me have spoken about it. It's over the last month. It's been a thing that we've paid attention to more often, and people have asked about it. And he has 2 young boys. And I asked him, the way you speak to yourself, would you talk to them that way?
Yeah.
And he says, like, never in my life would I do that. Because it's mean and harsh. And I think we have, in a way, taught ourselves that to be a high-performing person, you need to be very harsh with yourself and mean and cruel in a way and beat yourself up. And I don't think that is true at all.
I think you need to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
I think that's something that's really important. I think that's what distinguishes people that go through life very unaware of their impact from people who are these high-performing people. There needs to be a level of accountability and honesty with yourself to say, well, I could have done that better. But I think the reset is where we need to focus. So, yes, I could have done that better. What can I do now? Versus either making excuses, which is the one end of the continuum, going, but I had this excuse or this reason, or wasn't feeling great, or whatever the case is. Or then on the other end of the continuum, really coming down on yourself and going to that negative spiral where you say, well, okay, well, now I've failed at this, and now I'm a failure as a mother, and now I'm a failure as a person, and really spiraling down that chain. So I think it is about finding that distinction, but keeping the accountability. I am in control of how I show up. So what I do, what I say, what I feel, and what I think. And typically what we think is what we say to ourselves. So if we can start taking control back and not just allowing every thought, automatic negative thought, or thoughts about our performance to dictate how we feel about ourselves and our identity, that's when we kind of step out and we can distinguish between having a bad moment or a bad day and being a bad person.
Mm-hmm. I would never think to myself that just having no standards is a good thing.
No, definitely not.
So it's not a question of just do whatever you like.
Yeah.
You are perfect the way you are. Don't even try. I don't believe that. I think we all can benefit from aiming upwards.
Yeah.
And we should.
Definitely.
I think that should be a continuous aim throughout your entire lifetime, to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. But I really, really like the idea of speaking to yourself like you would speak to a friend that you care about. I mean, if you go through a bad time, or you mess up, or you struggle with doubt or an injury, I don't beat up on you. I try to encourage you. I try to say, well, try the rehab, do that thing, take it easy, take a break. And it's not that I want you to stop trying. I want you to get better.
And I think the accountability is still there, right? So it's still do something, show up differently, try something else. I mean, another thing that just came in like top of mind is if everything is a 10, then nothing's a 10. It's kind of a thought that I've got. And I think we often don't keep each other accountable in terms of the rest and the recovery part of this whole equation. So often our self-talk pushes us to just go. You need to be always on, do, especially in terms of the high performance spectrum.
You need to be busy. If you're not busy, you're wasting time, you're stealing,
busy
you whatever.
And performing. You need to be performing all the time. And it's something that they use when they work with athletes specifically, where they really focus on, I think it's called RPE, which is
rate of perceived exertion.
Rate of perceived exertion, where it's focused on how much can I actually give. So what do you need to think about in terms of how much performance you can give in a specific situation and keep yourself accountable. And I think that makes sense in terms of the self-talk conversation to a large extent, because if you are perceiving that I'm not in a good space right now, right? Maybe something really bad happened in your life, or you've been through a little bit of a dip, or whatever the case is. Yes, acknowledge that there's things that aren't optimal, and then take the next step. But you still need to exert. There's no getting away from the fact that you need to do something. And part of that equation is the rest and recovery. So you can't always be at a 9 or a 10. You need to sometimes be at a 4 to recover and to set yourself up to perform when you need to.
Again, yes. Yeah. So I think the one thing, talk to yourself like a friend.
Yeah.
Encourage yourself. I wouldn't say to a friend, I think, that I care about who's doing something stupid, just keep doing something stupid, that's okay. But you're going to tell that person, I don't think this is a good idea. Make a change if you care about them. I think that's the first thing. And I think talking to yourself, like you said, and convincing yourself that it's okay to take a break every now and again, that's an important thing as well. You don't always have to be on. But you want to switch off so that you can perform again when you need to step back on what you need to be doing. But then the third thing as well, which is important this time of year, is don't just constantly be telling yourself that you're tired. The year is long.
I should be tired because everyone else is tired.
Because everybody else is saying the year is long. Now I just decide that I'm tired. I did a race on Saturday, and you're running with hundreds of other people. And I try to distract myself from the fact that I am physically tired, because you push yourself. And then I'm wondering what the other people are thinking. whether they are saying to themselves, I hate this, so difficult, I'd rather stop. That's a very normal voice to hear when you are exerting yourself to that level. But I don't find it to be useful. What I find more useful is encouraging yourself to say, okay, run until you get to that tree, and then you can walk to the next one. That's okay. You're doing well. Because it's difficult. But if the voice is just saying, tired, 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 and you see my speech bubble saying tired, I wouldn't be proud of that.
Yeah. And your whole body language will follow on that, right? So if you're feeling frustrated, or you're feeling tired, or you're feeling exhausted, or you're feeling it's the end of the year slump, then, and that's what you keep repeating to yourself, then eventually your body language is going to say that. And it will start reflecting in your interactions with people. It will start reflecting in how much focus and how well you can perform when you have to. So it definitely is something that one should focus on and really direct your attention towards having something motivating to say. Last thought on that is, when you hear that voice come into your mind and go, you're tired, you can't do this, whatever that voice is mumbling, I think make friends with the voice. So say thank you. I acknowledge the fact that I am potentially exerting myself more than I should, and that rest is important. But for the next 2 weeks, I can't rest and recover because there's things that need to get done. But I am acknowledging the fact that I need to rest, and because if you just try and push that voice away and you just go, I'm going to ignore all negative thoughts, like that no bad vibe sign, that sign, that is not going to help you. Somewhere you are going to run into a wall very, very hard, because you can only suppress as long as your body allows you to. We spoke to ex-Olympic athlete or retired Olympic athlete a while ago, and she said, when she didn't rest and recover, her body forced her to by means of injury. And I think we need to be aware that even though we're not on the Olympic track, we need to listen to what our body needs, but we also need to negotiate with that voice a little bit, because that voice is typically going to quit a lot quicker than the rest of our body will. So we need to have that conversation with ourselves. So I give that voice a name. Mine is Eeyore. And whenever Eeyore comes, I love Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh. I think it's the cutest character, but I also acknowledge the character traits of being, oh, everything's wrong, nothing's going my way. Doesn't help me. It doesn't help me feel good. It makes me, I don't want to be that. I want people to experience me as upbeat and uplifting and encouraging, because that's how I will live my why. I'm not going to be much of a person that leaves people better if I'm always complaining. So when I hear that voice, I go, thanks, Eeyore. I notice that you're identifying threats, but I'm just going to get this done because it's important. And once I'm done, I'll rest and recover. But it's important to have that conversation and to be wise in having that conversation.
Like that. So pay attention to the things you're saying to yourself, because it matters.
Yes.
Yeah, and if the voice doesn't benefit you, don't ignore it, but change it.
Yeah.
In a way that would be more beneficial in the moment.
Yes, notice what you're thinking. Pay attention.
That is a good, quick chat.
Yes.